girls, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I just wanted to do kind of just a little check-in for Mercury retrograde. I know it's been a hard time for a lot of us already, and yeah, let me know in the comments down below how Mercury retrograde has been affecting you. This video is just going to be like a little bit of advice to help you get through the rest of Mercury retrograde. If you don't know what Mercury retrograde is, without going into too much detail, it's basically the planet of Mercury is going backwards, essentially. And Mercury is the planet of communication, technology, so it affects a lot of those things, right? I've experienced a lot of technical difficulties because of Mercury retrograde, and it also is a time where communication doesn't come as easily. It's a little bit harder to get your words out, or sometimes what you meant to say doesn't come out the right way. Yeah, so it's not the best time to start new things. But with that being said, I just kind of wanted to do a little bit of a advice reading, kind of like a warning, what you should do, what you shouldn't do for this time. So yeah, it's going to be kind of a shorter reading. I don't know if you guys saw my last reading, but it was just kind of like your upcoming week, kind of like a little snapshot of that. And I just did like 3 or 4 cards, and that's what I want to do today. It's not super in-depth. We just had a beautiful full moon in Cancer, so emotions are running high. It's this very overpowering kind of feeling right now. So with that being said, I have 3 different decks here to choose from. So right here I have the Force of Enchantment Tarot with a beautiful piece of opalite. Stunning. I have the Everyday Witch Tarot with this piece of aura quartz. It's like a green. And I have the Green Witch Tarot with another piece of aura quartz. So whatever crystal or deck you're drawn to, you feel like has a message for you, go ahead and go with that one. I will have the decks listed down below with the time stamps. This will be deck number 1, deck number 2, and deck number 3. So with that being said, we're going to start with deck number 1 over here, the Force of Enchantment Tarot. Hello, group number 1. If you chose this deck, this reading's for you. We have the Force of Enchantment Tarot and this beautiful piece of opalite. So I'm just going to shuffle the cards a bit, and so I'm just going to shuffle and say, what do we need to know for Mercury retrograde? What does group number 1 need to know for Mercury retrograde? Just a few different cards. That one wants to come out. Okay, do we want a 4th card? No. Okay. So, we're just going to go with these 3 cards that came out for you. So, we have the Weaver of Challenges. We have the 2 of Challenges. In a typical deck, it would be swords, if you're wondering. And then we have the Council of Animals, which is Judgment. All right, so the Weaver of Challenges is the Queen of Swords in a normal deck. So Queen of Swords, we have the 2 of Swords, and we have Judgment. So to me, I feel like mentally, Mercury retrograde will be hard for you. We have the Queen of Swords. So to me, I'm feeling like your energy has this Queen of Swords energy. She's somebody who speaks her mind, right? She just kind of says whatever, and she doesn't care if it will hurt anybody else or you know, she just says what she wants to say unapologetically. And I feel like this is kind of a warning to watch what you say. Really kind of think about your words before you say them. Because I don't think that that's normally how you are, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like if you kind of are quick to say things, then they can come off with this Queen of Swords kind of an energy where they seem harsher than you meant them, right? Mercury retrograde communication, it's all over the place. It's not, your intentions when you say something might be good, right? But the other person's not going to take them that way. They're going to be hurt from them. It's going to feel different on their end. So I would just, this is just kind of an overall, be careful what you say, because you're going to come off kind of, I love this picture. She looks just like a snow queen, like super harsh, right? It's like winter right there. So yeah, so that's what I'm getting off of Weaver of Challenges, Queen of Swords energy. And then we have the Two of Swords, and this is a card about decisions. Any of the twos, it's always about a choice most of the time. And to me, the Two of Swords is about a decision that just, you're not listening to your heart, you're overthinking. A traditional Two of Swords card will show somebody with their hands crossed over their heart. And I feel like this is kind of like a representation of, you are the only one in your way, kind of. He's looking at himself in the mirror here. And these Two of Swords kind of decisions feel like, it feels like you can't physically make a decision, right? But the only person standing in your way of making that decision is yourself. And, you know, whatever path you take, in the long run, you do have to make a decision. You can't stay in this deadlocked stance forever. And so I feel like right now, because of Mercury retrograde, you're feeling kind of stuck almost. You feel like you can't go one way or another. You're kind of like stuck in this weird like middle place. And then we have Judgment, the Council of Animals. And I love it because they're all kind of standing here like waiting. I feel like this is like representing like, all right, I feel like the Council of Animals is waiting for you to make this decision. There's some kind of big decision, and you're really like weighing it over in your mind over and over and over again, and you're not going with what you truly want to do. And this is an indication of, you need to make the choice with your heart and not your head, because obviously your rational mind is overthinking it way too much, and so you need to go with your heart. And the Council of Animals is just kind of like waiting. I feel like they're just waiting for you to make the decision. Like, come on, dude, like, we know the decision that you should make, and you know the decision you should make, right? But you're not doing it. And the Council of Animals is normally a judgment card, and the card of Judgment is about looking at what you've done, making a decision, and moving on to something new, right? Renewal. And so I feel like they're just waiting here to welcome you. They're waiting for you to make that choice. So yeah, I think the overthinking is really getting to you. And so to kind of recap, be careful what you say. I feel like that's what this Queen of Swords is, just like a little warning about what you say to others. And then you really need to listen to what your heart wants. I feel like with Mercury retrograde, you're just getting clouded with all these extra worries and extra doubts, and you need to clear that away and just go with what your gut and your heart wants. It's not necessarily a time to make like rational mind decisions about whatever it is that you're struggling with. You need to just go with like your first gut instinct. Stop weighing like is this going to be a good idea because of this and all of that. Like, that is all well and good in some situations, but in this one, you just need to go with your heart. And the choice, this I'm seeing in the future position, that the choice you make will have consequences, but good consequences. Like, you will have a renewal, a rebirth, a fresh start here with the Judgment card. So I hope that that made sense. It's a little bit, Mercury retrograde is affecting me as well, as you can tell. So it's a little bit harder for me to get my words across, I feel like, but hopefully that made sense for you. I'm going to pull a oracle card for you. This is from the Blessed Bee oracle, and this is just a blessing for you for this time. What do you need a blessing for to help you get through Mercury retrograde? So what does group number 1? Okay. A blessing on the children. So this can mean multiple things. So first of all, what a beautiful card. A blessing on the children. So this could mean multiple things. If you have children and you've been kind of worried about them, or you're trying to make a decision surrounding your children, this is just a blessing on that, kind of a confirmation that everything's going to be okay with them. If you don't have children, I could look at this as your inner child. So a blessing on your inner child. So maybe that's something that you should look into, is inner child work. If you've never looked at that before, just look up what inner child work is. It's really powerful. I am a avid user of inner child work. I feel like it's super helpful. And so this is just, again, I feel like this goes along with the listening to your heart, right? A blessing on your inner child. When you're a child, you just go for what you want. You know, you don't stop to think about all of the consequences and all of the outcomes, right? You just go for it. And I feel like this is just a confirmation that that inner child needs to come out in this situation, and you need to listen to them, because sometimes children, your inner child, are the wisest out there. So yeah, so I hope that this resonated with you. If it did, please comment down below. I would love to hear feedback. And with that being said, I'm going to move on to group number 2 now. Hello, group number 2. If you chose this deck, then this reading is for you. I have the Everyday Witch Tarot and this pretty piece of green aura quartz. I'm just going to shuffle the deck a few times to make sure it's thoroughly shuffled for you. I was trying to pick magical themed decks today to just bring in some magic during this time, because it feels a little bit stressful. So yeah, we need a little extra help for Mercury retrograde, right? Okay, so I would like, okay, that card came out. So did this one. I would like a message for group number 2, advice on Mercury retrograde. Do we want a 4th card? 4th card, 4th card, no. Okay, so we're gonna go with these 3. Seems like the universe had a very important message for you because those flew out. We have the High Priestess, beautiful. We have Judgment, and we have the Fool. Wow. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm getting the message of you need to let things go. Things are going to be out of your control, right? The High Priestess, let's talk about her first because she's over there. High Priestess is in tune with her emotions. The High Priestess is highly intuitive. She's aware of things that we don't know. right? And I feel like this is kind of an outer influence on the situation. So it's just, I'm getting that the High Priestess energy is Mercury retrograde in itself, right? But also a reminder of you need to listen to your intuition. That's the most important thing. During this time, again, like I've said, communication is hard. It doesn't come out the right way. And so it'll be important for you to instead of listening with your ears, right, for what other people are saying, listen with your gut, listen with your instinct, your intuition. And again, there's things that we can't see physically, but we can feel them. And it's important for this time for you to feel things out more than like listening to things around you. And then we have Judgment, which is funny because Judgment came out in the last reading as well. So again, I feel like whatever outcome is supposed to happen is just going to happen. We're going to have a renewal, right? When we get, I love it. We have the Fool on the end here, which I'll get to in a minute, but the Judgment, it's about when Judgment Day comes in the Bible, right? Which, sorry I'm bringing this up, but it's easier to explain that way. You know, all of our past is kind of has been judged, and we're being taken up to heaven, or you know, the other option, right? Judgment Day is going to come, like no matter if we like it or not. And I feel like this is kind of talking about things we can't control, right? I feel like there's going to be kind of like this judgment time where it's a renewal, right? It's an ending. It's looking at all of your past, kind of taking inventory of what you've done and why certain things didn't work out the way they did. And then we have the Fool over here, which is all about new beginnings, kind of going with the flow. This witch is about to fall off the cliff, right? But she doesn't care. She's just about to go like fly off and do whatever she wants to do. So I feel like this is a time for you to let it go. Like the universe is going to work the way that it wants to, and it's time for you to just kind of go with the flow. And stop trying to control things, right? You don't need to have control over everything. Like, I'm just getting this overall vibe of you needing to let go. You need to let things happen the way that they're supposed to happen. This judgment, whatever it is, some kind of like it's going to be some kind of a moment where you just kind of like shift your thinking and you start over. It's a renewal. And this could also be the energy of like the new year, right? But I feel like whatever you've been worrying about, whatever you've been overthinking, again, I'm getting the overthinking, you need to let it go and just kind of go with the flow. That's my advice for you for Mercury retrograde, is to not try to plan everything out. Just let it go. And listen to your gut instead of what you hear around you, right? Because I feel like especially nowadays we hear so much what we should do, what we shouldn't do in certain, you know, with the news and everything like that. And it's going to be important for you to not take that stuff to heart, because, and I'm going to get a little preachy here, but we are strong, magical beings, and we have all the answers within us to an extent, right? We have this beautiful intuition that a lot of us block out, and it's important for you to listen to that. It's something that maybe possibly you haven't listened to in the past. And I take this, okay, again, I'm just getting this in. Judgment card, I feel like it's coming in to look at your past where you haven't listened to your gut. And what was the outcome of that, right? Majority of the time when you look back and you didn't listen to your gut, you should have. Okay, so I feel like, again, that's another message here of realizing how powerful you are and how how in charge you really are, right? Okay, so I'm pulling a card from the Blessed Bee card, or Blessed Bee deck, for a overall blessing for you. A blessing for solace and hope. So if you've been overstressing lately, which I can tell that you have, like I feel like you overthink a lot, it's gonna be okay, right? This is a beautiful blessing for solace and hope. Like, this is a message. It's going to be okay. But you gotta let go. You can't control it. You have to have faith that it's gonna be okay. Oh, I love that card. So again, like I said with the last reading, hopefully it came out, my words came out okay, and you guys understood what I was trying to say, because Mercury retrograde is affecting me as well. I feel like I can't convey what I want to say as much or as well as I usually can. So I hope that this resonated with you. If it did, please comment down below. I would love the feedback. And with that being said, I'm going to move on to group number 3. Hello, group number 3. If you picked this reading or this deck, this reading is for you. This is the Green Witch Tarot, and I have this pretty piece of like blue and purple aura quartz. And I'm just going to shuffle the deck. Make sure it's nice and shuffled for your reading. What does group number 3 need to hear about Mercury retrograde? Okay, that one. Mercury retrograde. Oh, we want a 4th card. Yes, okay. So we have 4 cards here. So we have the Crone, which is the strength in a normal deck. We have the Moon, okay. We have the 7 of Cups. And we have the Tower, or the Wild Hunt. Okay, so let's talk about it. Strength, the Moon, the 7 of Cups, and the Tower. So I feel like Mercury retrograde for you hasn't been as hard, in the sense that, like, I'm getting like optimism kind of vibes. Like, I feel like you're kind of a cup half full kind of a person. Like, I feel, okay, so we have the Tower over here, and I feel like the Tower is the energy of Mercury retrograde. Things we can't control, right? Things that are happening to us that just, like, they're... A lot of us feel like during Mercury retrograde we're having these, like, Tower moments. And Tower moments don't have to be huge catastrophic events, right? I feel like you can kind of scale that back, and that's what I'm feeling with the Mercury retrograde thing, right? And a lot of times with things that can happen during Mercury retrograde, they feel bigger than they actually are, and then when we reflect, we're like, okay, well, that wasn't that bad. So I'm getting the feeling that yes, these things are happening to you, but you're just kind of like going with it. We have the Crone, which is strength, and I feel like you're just kind of like just having this inner fortitude. And if you're not, then this is a reading of kind of like what to do, I guess. But I'm getting more of the vibe that this is just kind of how you are. Like, I'm not getting a lot of advice off this. Like, I feel like you're handling Mercury retrograde really well. And maybe just the message that you're needing to hear is that, you know, just kind of like as a an extra affirmation, right? We have the Moon, and I feel like, to me, this is indicating the cosmic kind of happenings with Mercury retrograde. I feel like that's kind of what the Moon is conveying for me. And also that you're in tune with those kind of things. Like, I feel like if you're not a witch, or you don't work with the moon phases, then you should. But I feel like you already kind of like do. And this is gonna sound weird, but I feel like you do. If you don't consciously work with the moon, I feel like the moon is working with you anyway. I don't know. Like, I feel like you're very intuitive, very in tune with yourself, and so if you're not a witch or you haven't had like a spiritual awakening yet, I feel like the moon's like, hey bitch, like, come on, like, work with me, I want to work with you. Excuse my language, but I feel like that's kind of like the energy I'm getting off of that. And then we have the Seven of Cups, which is where I'm getting that optimistic kind of feeling from. The Seven of Cups is very like a daydreamer, kind of like, you are positive, you feel like the world has all these options for you, but you're just like, okay, well, when is it gonna happen? Like, you're just like, all right, I know I can, that all these things can happen for me, so like, when are they gonna happen? Like, you're just very, I'm getting a very good energy off of you. And like, even when bad things are happening, you're just like, all right, well, this is happening, like, nothing I can do about it, kind of. And you still hope and dream. Like, that's what I'm getting. Like, even on our worst days, and I feel like I can be like this a little bit too, so just like from personal experiences, even on the worst days, I'll like dream and hope for things to get better, right? And it's funny because I think of myself as more like a pessimistic, so, but I still feel like that, so maybe, I don't know. So if you kind of feel like you personally are like more of a pessimist, then maybe you can relate with me. Like, you still know overall that the universe like has things for you, good things for you. So yeah, my advice, I guess, like the main thing that popped out for me was like working with the moon, and maybe I'm just like preaching from personal stuff, but like working with the moon is so powerful. But I feel like you already know that. You're an intuitive person. You kind of like have your shit together already in a way. So my advice for you, group number 3, is to just keep it up, keep your spirit. Kind of, I mean, you understand that this is just for a short period of time, and like the wheel will go around again and things will get better. So yeah, my advice is just keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to pull a blessing card for you, and this one popped out for you. This is from the Blessed Be deck, and we have a blessing for good men and fathers. Yes. So, okay, so this wouldn't be a Mercury retrograde video if I didn't have some technical difficulties. Okay, my camera just shut off again, but basically, I'm gonna say this for like the 5th time. This is a blessing. I feel like if you have any good men in your life, or if you are a man, this is a blessing that you're a good person, you're a good father, whatever it may be. If you don't have any good men in your life, I feel like this is a blessing that good men will come into your life, right? A blessing for that. Could be a blessing or a reminder for you to talk to the good men in your life, let them know what they mean to you. Because good men and fathers, they deserve a blessing, right? Because not all men, not all fathers are good men and fathers. So, yes, that was your blessing. I hope that this reading resonated with you. If it did, please comment down below. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.